right, folks. Hey, listener. Time to join in on the fun. We appreciate you listening from your car, your office, your home, wherever you may be. Let's play Headline or Hoax with Dr. Ben. Now, we have a pro comic, Miss Paula here, and a healthcare hero, Dr. Mike. I am going to read two headlines. One is an actual medical headline, and the other is a hoax. And we're going to have our two experts and guests here determine which one is real. And so they're going to write down which one they feel is real. Are you all ready to play along at home here? All right,
Ready.
folks. Headline or hoax? Let's scrub in for this one. Okay. Our first headline is Man regrows severed fingertip using powder from pig bladder. Man regrows severed fingertip using powder from pig bladder. Is everybody ready for headline number 2? All right, headline number 2 is regular coffee drinkers have 23% lower risk of developing phantom phone vibration syndrome. Regular coffee drinkers have 23% lower risk of developing phantom phone vibration syndrome. Let's think about those two. And our guests here are going to try to determine which one is a real headline. They both sound kind of bizarre, but plausible. Like, interesting.
I think I have mine.
Okay, Miss Paula.
Ladies first.
All right,
Okay.
listener, are you ready? Miss Paula's going to give her thoughts. Which one is the real one?
I think one.
Why do you think one?
Because I thought the second one seemed too realistic.
Okay. Seemed a little too realistic.
Right.
Okay, I like it. Dr. Mike, what was your guess?
I guessed number 2 because I thought it sounded more realistic.
For the same reason,
For the
he
same
voted
reason.
number 2.
It's a lot harder to grow a finger than it is to drink a lot of coffee.
Fingertip.
That's right.
A tip could be like a nubbin. Anyway.
Right. Listener, which one did you pick? All right. Well, on the show, we've had both of our guests guess the correct one. We've had them both guess the incorrect one, and we've had split decisions here, which we have today here. So to find out who is real, listener, which one did you pick? Okay. Listener, are you ready? The real headline was number 1, Dr.
Really?
Paula.
Oh, I got burned.
Man regrows severed fingertip using powder from pig bladder. Yes. And there actually is a phantom phone vibration syndrome. I don't know if you guys have...
I think I have it.
Right. You think your phone's texting or vibrating, and it really isn't. And there's an actual syndrome where... but not correlated with coffee drinking and that. But yes. So, listener, there was a guy named Lee Spivak who sliced off the tip of his middle finger from a model plane propeller, and doctors offered him either amputation or graft, and his brother had a biotech company and said, hey, put a little pig bladder lining powder on it, and he did, and this magic pixie dust, he regrew his finger.
It's not kosher.
Good for him.
Exactly. It's not kosher. That's right.
Well, he just can't eat that finger, I guess.
So
Smells really good though.
some hand surgeons have kind of debunked that, saying this guy would have regrown, and fingers do heal anyway. And but that did make a headline that a man used some pig lining powder. But listener, I don't recommend you try that at home.
If you do, you should definitely text us a picture.
Right. Send the podcast a picture.
Just not of the severed finger. Don't use the severed finger to send the picture.
Dr. Mike, if someone does have like a saw accident, should they bring their finger with them if they accidentally...
I would bring it if there's any chance to save it.
To replant it?
Yeah, if there's any chance of that.
So don't bring a snake, but do bring the finger you cut off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it's not salvageable. Most of the time it's not salvageable.
Okay.
But we can make that determination at the time of.
Okay.
One of my uncles doesn't have a finger. That's it.
From traumatic, was he a woodworker or carpenter or anything? Or was he born that way?
I think he was born without that finger.
Okay.
He used to bring it up a lot.
Which finger is it?
Or he didn't bring it up a lot because
Right. I think it was this one,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
maybe.
The ring finger
Shocking.
Or maybe it was this.
or middle? Okay, be careful with your hand
Yeah, I
gestures.
know. I think it was this one.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
So still in traffic, he can express some
He can-
displeasure.
Can he get
with other
married?
drivers.
Can he get married?
He is married, so
Yeah,
thank
left ring
God.
finger.
There you go.
Yeah, if you don't
If
have
it's
that,
a left ring finger,
you have to be
where
alone
does he
the
wear
rest
his
of your life.
wedding ring?
I honestly, I'm not like that close with him.
Okay.
Where I feel like I don't like keep up where his ring fingers are.
We're gonna keep where people's fingers are.
I just remember as a kid him always being like, "Hey, I don't have a finger."
Dr. Mike,
was
which
fine.
finger do you think would be the most expendable?
Expendable.
On your thumb.
No.
That's the last one you want.
No,
sarcastic.
I mean, I would defer that to my ortho colleagues, but
Okay.
I would say 4 or
One
5.
of those.
4 or 5.
Fourth or fifth,
Yeah.
depending on if you want to be married or not.
You want your pinky if
Yeah.
you want to be classy, right?
For T, for high
T.
T.
If you want to be married, you need this one.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If you want to be a jerk, you need this one.
Mhm.
Right. What about if you want to
Point.
If you want to be a teacher, you need this one
the point?
to point.
So I think it depends on your occupation.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do with your life.
If you want to express that things are good, you need your thumbs.
Yeah.
Hey, the font
If you have
E.
depression, you probably don't need your thumbs.
Well,
Too
unless
far?
you want to
Okay.
give thumbs down.
Yeah.
All right, listener, how'd you do? All right, folks, are you ready for Dr. Ben Buzz Battle? Ben Buzz Battle B3, like the vitamin we never needed. I don't think there is a vitamin B3, is there, Dr. Mike? Where a professional comic suits up for surgery. We have Dr. Paula. She's going to try to beat the clock and save the patient. We're serious all day long. When you're with Dr. Ben and friends, you have to decompress, whether it's at one of my stand-up shows or on our podcast. Dr. Mike, how about we have that comic take over as surgeon today?
I'm scared. She's already
My
broke stuff.
first thing that I'm going to do as a surgeon is I'm going to tell everybody that I think I'm better than them.
Well, she's got that down.
Well, she's already broke her sterile field with her jewelry.
Right. Yes, you have to be very egocentric. The world revolves around you, Dr. Paula.
Yes.
Exactly. You have to
Have you
knock
ever
things
thought
off
of
the
being a
table.
surgeon?
No, because
Because
nobody has ever asked me.
How good are you at this motion?
This motion?
Yeah, this motion.
what does that do?
That's how you knock everything off the table.
There you go.
Clear the tables.
Clear the table. It's like,
I also think I would be a good surgeon because I would get mad at everybody else for my patient canceling.
All right, Dr. Mike, what equipment does Dr. Paula have on today, getting her ready for surgery?
Well, today she's donning her local scrub attire with a nice bouffant cap.
Keep the hair out of the
Exactly. And then
surgical field.
and a properly placed and worn mask to keep everything sterile as well. She has her surgical gown on that's tied, and she had to do her little dance to get that on. And then, of course, today she's only going to be single glove, but normally we would have her double gloved with, these are non-sterile, but we would typically use sterile
Sterile
gloves.
Previously
gloves.
tested the patient. He's
Mhm.
clean.
He's clean.
He's clean.
But are you? That's the question. It's not so much about the patient, it's about you. You don't want to contaminate the field.
All right, listener. Dr. Paula here is going to have 60 seconds to remove as many ailments from our patient today. In 60 seconds, there are 12 ailments. We'll see how many she has. And she's playing the classic Hasbro game where if she touches the side with her instrument, it will buzz and she'll need to move on to the next one. And we'll see how many she can remove. And I won't tell you the record yet for a comedian surgeon.
All right.
But, all right. Well, just like in surgery, we have to do what's called a timeout, where we need to confirm that we have the correct patient and what the procedure is. Dr. Paula, if you'll pick a name here, we'll make sure we have the correct patient. This is
This is patient
Willie
Willie,
Nelson.
Hall of Fame,
Willie Hall of Fame.
Broadway.
All right. And what, pick an ailment here, and you're going to try to do 12, but this is one that we're going to try to.
This is what the patient came in most complaining. Extra spicy hot chicken challenge.
Ooh,
All right.
That sounds
So-
like almost tox. That's like a tox complaint.
Yeah.
I like it.
Little
We probably should be double gloved for that.
You should.
too much.
Good. Correct. Correct.
right.
Don't touch your mucous membranes.
Are you ready, Dr. Paula?
I'm
Get
ready.
your forceps ready. You're going to start, and I'm going to start the clock here. When you hear the clock start, you're going to have 60 seconds.
Did she mark the side?
Yes. Mark all 12 ailments. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. All right. You have 60 seconds. We're going to give a little play-by-play.
Oh.
All right. Now, Miss Dr. Paula is removing things like frog in the throat, butterflies in the stomach. She has 60 seconds.
Oh my
wow.
goodness.
The dexterity of a surgeon.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I feel like she needs to be yelling more. And
Well, not just that, and also like putting in an actual, like, use the correct bag or put it, to the side. She's just letting things go everywhere.
Let it go.
This is
On
like
the floor.
This is like an ER doctor doing things in the
I
trauma
have
bag. Just
a-
things go everywhere. We'll clean it up later. It's
we'll
fine.
clean it up
It's fine.
later.
It's fine.
I have low respect for my surgical techs.
Oh, buzz.
there's a little
We got a buzz there,
buzz.
folks. She touched the side. She's trying to remove butterflies from the stomach. You ever
Oh,
get
my
butterflies
goodness.
in your stomach during comedy?
Every time.
Okay,
Every
now we're
time.
getting a frog in your throat.
Ah,
Dang it.
Remember, don't lick toads.
don't like toads.
That'd be a good way to get a frog in your throat.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I
All
a
right.
bit of a heartbreaker over here.
Ah,
Oh,
that doesn't count.
that doesn't count. Give her a little extra time.
Oh.
All right, folks.
I blame my technician.
Blame the tech. Blame anesthesia.
Blame anesthesia. It's always
Patients.
anesthesia's
Blame
fault.
Okay.
anesthesia.
It's all
I think
anesthesia's
she
fault.
correctly cured of
4.
how many ailments?
1. The rubber band is 2, 3.
Wow.
Well
4.
done.
Well done, Dr.
All right,
Paula.
thank you,
How do you
thank
think you did, Dr. Paula?
I think I did below average.
You did well.
All
You
right.
I think you did above average.
All right.
And we didn't even have any music playing in the operating room.
What would you have as your music playing
Yeah,
in the
what kind of
operating
music
room?
would you like to?
I would like to listen to Taylor Swift.
Oh, Swifty.
Yep. I would like to, if I'm having a bad day, I will listen to sad songs.
Okay.
If I'm having a good day, I'll listen to happy songs.
Like Taylor Swift.
Yep. She's got all of them, all the songs.
All right.
Well, that's
Yes.
a very local thing.
I
What?
love it.
Oh, yeah, very looking now.
Mhm.
No, if I think the patient is a good looking person, maybe I will sing Red.
Oh, good one.
You know?
I love it.